Violet Serrengail really got her life upended when she got sent to the War College. She wasn't gonna go. She had no intention of going. She was going to be a scribe. We know this from the beginning. The book starts off strong on the day that she's going to go walk the parapet. The book starts on a day that she might not even live through. Before we get too far, I will warn you, spoilers, I am talking about Violet, so if you haven't read it yet or haven't finished it yet, you might want to save this for later and come back. As we get into this video and into the character of Violet, I think I'd like to look at her kind of through the lens of her relationships with those other people in her life. And we start off with her mom and her sister. She has an interesting relationship with her mom. Her mom is the respected military general. Her dad, who is no longer there, was the scribe. She was going to follow in his footsteps, not in her mom's. Her body is not strong. She bends and breaks and bruises and scratches and pretty much all of those things easily. She gets hurt easily. She takes a long time to heal. It's pretty well accepted that she has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, although it's not called that in a book because it's a fantasy world. And in this world, the strong kids go to the War College and the smart kids go to the Scribe College. I don't remember what that's called. We don't spend a lot of time there. So while Violet is not very physically strong, she is very smart. Smart enough to know that this is not the right place for her. This is not where she should be going. It is a matter of contention between her and her mom. It's a matter of contention between her sister and her mom. Mira jokes, but also really feels really deeply that she does not want to be left an only child. They've already lost their brother. Mira is a dragon rider, so she has a dangerous job, and they all thought that Violet would not go on to be a dragon rider. They thought that she would have the safe job where she belongs, where she should be. Their mom, the general, Lilith, highly values strong warrior dragon riders. So the fact that Violet was probably never going to be one was going to be a huge disappointment to her. And in her mind, the Serrengails are riders. Violet is a Serrengail. She will go to Basgiath War College. If she doesn't survive, she didn't deserve to be a dragon rider. If she does survive, it's no big deal. Obviously, she was a Serrengail, so it's only to be expected. Basically, there's no pleasing her mom. Nothing she can do will ever be good enough. She'll never measure up. Why bother trying to impress her mom when her mom will just find fault in anything she does? Mira is a little more encouraging. Mira has the book from their brother, whose name I don't remember. And I kind of like how at the beginning of each chapter there's a little snippet from a book, because Violet knows books. Books are her friends. Books are what she was going to do as her job. She was going to live amongst them. They feel familiar to her. And some of those chapter headings are the little excerpts from her brother. So it's like her brother gets to speak into her and help her along. I thought that was kind of cool. And so she's being forced out of what she had wanted, what she had desired, and what she felt capable of into this other job that she just always thought would not be for her. She's not physically strong. She'll never be a writer. And now her mom is just saying, that's what you're gonna do, or you're a disappointment to this family. And Violet makes a decision that affects the rest of her time at college. She was lucky enough to have a sister who made it through, who graduated and is currently a writer and a hero, and her sister gave her not just advice, but physical items to help her survive. One of those being the boots. And as smart as Violet is, it seems like a smart person would have kept those boots laced on tightly. But Violet is not just smart, she's also compassionate. And she meets a girl who she looks down at her feet and says, you are gonna slip to your death, take one of my boots. And that one action, we don't find out till like towards the end of the book. That one action made such an impression on Xaden that started his feelings for her. The positive feelings, not the hateful, you should die feelings. Xaden, who should have been her enemy from the beginning, who she thought was her enemy from the beginning, looked down at those two girls' feet. He immediately understood what Violet had done and was impressed. This girl who looked like she should not have made it, who should have kept those boots to herself to survive, gave of herself to help someone else. That's not something you always see at Basgiath War College. It's kind of every person for themselves. You have to survive. You have to live. You have to live in a way that impresses a dragon with your strength and ferocity. It's a good thing that the person Violet naturally is was impressive to a dragon. And kind of what she thought at first, that the strong kids go to war college, shush, is kind of true. She is the physically weakest. She has to do other things besides be strong to survive, to win her daggers. With help from her brother in the form of the book, with the help of her brains, encouragement from her friend Rhiannon, she makes it farther than anyone ever expected. Farther than her friend Dane would have liked. That is a tough relationship in this book. They were childhood friends. He knows her so well. He feels like he knows what she's capable of. He knows how easily she gets hurt. He knows how dangerous this job is. He cares about her and wants to protect her, but his form of care for her is kind of, he doesn't respect her. She wants to stay. She's there. Her mom's not going to let her get out of it. If she tries to run away to the scribes like Dane is trying to convince her to do, her mom will just come get her and take her back. So she wants to give it everything she has. She wants to do what she can to be a writer, to impress a dragon, to survive, to win. And Dane doesn't respect that. Dane, using the excuse of caring for her and wanting to protect her, wants to hold her back. He doesn't want to let her test herself because she might get hurt. Not might. She will get hurt. It's a war college with dragons. People die every day. And Dane's biggest fear is that she will die. So he gives in to his fears. He tries to convince her to leave, to give up. Even though he cares about her, or says he does, by his actions, he's showing that he doesn't care about what she wants. He might care if she lives, but does he care if she's happy? If she's pursuing the path that she wants? I got kind of mad at Dane. And the thing that I appreciated about Xaden, we see from early on that he is trying to protect her and keep her alive. And at first we think it's just because she caught him and decided not to tell on him or whatever. They had some kind of deal. I don't know. Later we find out it's because he had feelings for her from the beginning. But his version of protecting her was not to treat her like glass. He didn't treat her like she was breakable, wrap her in bubble wrap, hide her away carefully. He wanted to help her. He wanted to teach her to be stronger, teach her ways to survive, basically equip her to do what she was trying to do. His friendship to her versus Dane's friendship was far more respectful. I almost feel like the trope of the dark brooding bad boy almost didn't work with Xaden, because he was that type of character, but he was also actually like good to Violet, even though he says he'll be bad for her. It's like he's trying too hard to fit into the trope, but he actually helps her and respects her and shows love to her. So it's almost like, I don't know, the dark brooding bad boy trope warring with an actual good relationship for her, and it's like, which one's gonna win out? I also really appreciated, I may have said this in my review of the book, how the bedroom scenes were all consensual. There was no forcing of anything, no violence. They got a little rough, but they both wanted to. Respect in the bedroom is a big deal. There was no abuse present, and I appreciated that, and it made Xaden okay in my book. And her sister had warned her not to make friends, not to build relationships. It just makes it worse because you don't know who's going to live. Any one of them could be taken at any moment. It's better to not get connected to people. Violet rebelled against that. She drew strength from her relationships, from her friendships. In some ways, they made her stronger. And the person she is, strong on the inside, compassionate, smart, all those things about her that she decided not to hide are what impressed not just Tarn, but also Endarna. I loved the moment where the big, gruff, powerful black dragon arrives. But then that moment where Andarna comes in and she also says her name. This is what dragons do. I'm a dragon. I've chosen her too. You're gonna write down my name. I loved that. That made me feel a little emotional. Violet is so different from anyone else who goes to the college, and she is the one who gets 2 dragons. She also gets a really cool power, super powerful. The story got a little different towards the end. I felt like the betrayal she felt about Xaden, story-wise, felt a little forced. Like, of course he's gonna keep that secret, even from her. By not keeping it secret, even from her, he's putting all of the marked ones in danger. And it shifted a lot from just kind of a focus on Violet and the college to then like the bigger world stuff going on. And then that reveal at the end, the brother who's been helping her the whole time is alive, and things are not as they seem, and the fairy tale creatures are real. All that stuff that got introduced at the end makes me excited for the next book. Okay, and here's where I'm going to give a prediction that I hope does not happen. And if you're a fan of Sarah J. Maas, I apologize. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I did not read the further books because, I'm good. I read one, I'm fine. But I did read some synopses for the further books just because I wanted to know what happens. Spoilers for the Court of Thorns and Roses books, okay? This is going to be a relationship spoiler. This is almost the end of the video, so if you haven't finished the series, just stop. My analytics will be fine if you stop watching right now. But after I read the first book, and Feyre went through this whole thing trying to get to Tamlin, and it was so hard, and she went through so much to be with him, and they're finally together at the end. And then I read the synopses for the further books where she's with the other guy, and Tamlin is not so good, and I was like, what was the point of all that? What was the point? Here's where I hope you have read those books and I didn't just spoil something. But also, if we get to Iron Flame, and after all that between Violet and Xaden, and suddenly they're not together and she finds somebody else to have a relationship with, I'm gonna be really annoyed. That's gonna annoy me. I don't often read in the romance genre. A lot of romance tropes are some of my least favorite ones. Violet and Xaden spent all this time building a relationship and I want them to be together now. Is that so bad? I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment if I left out anything about Violet that you were hoping I would talk about. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.